Hello, Professor Sheffield. This is my video on strategy modeling. So with this lesson, we're dealing with day one. As you can see, in our formative performance task is students will work with a partner to read and discuss sources and answer scaffolding questions about the sources. So here I have my sources, and there's three sources. Source A on the Yalta Conference, source B kind of talking about the tensions between the United States and the Soviet Union, and source C provides a map of Europe following World War II treaties and pacts. So the literacy strategy that I want to talk about with these sources is pairing or grouping in specific pairs. So yeah, this reading isn't too difficult, but since it is dealing with some new information, some background information, I want the students to work in pairs, meaning they'll read each source individually, um, and then after they're done reading, they will share what they found with a partner as well as answer the question. Particularly in the reading, I want them to highlight, which I will explicitly say in my lesson, I want them to highlight anything they find that talks about tension or separation between the Western Bloc and the Eastern Bloc. Um, and so some of my questions highlight that. So, for example, based on the outcomes of the Yalta Conference, it did seem like there was a divide amongst the Allied victors. Um, Similar to this question, what were the goals of the Soviet Union and the United States following World War II? So, kind of showing that there was a clear divide amongst the two sides, right? Which builds up to the Cold War and then eventually the Ukraine crisis, right? Where there is two different ideologies, two different sides, right? Of things. So, specifically with pairs, right? Not only are they relying on themselves to find the information, they can also get help from their partner. So that's what's good about this strategy is they can read it and highlight what I'm asking them to highlight. And after they're done, they can communicate, okay, hey partner, this is what I found that shows separation here, here, and here. What did you find? And if it's the same thing, that shows, okay, they've had the confidence that they're doing it correctly, right? Both partners share the same thing. And so after they're doing that, they'll read the question, which deals with the separation, which is what I asked them to highlight, and then they'll answer it together. So kind of giving them two different voice or giving a different voice um, helps with answering questions, gives them a different perspective maybe. Or if they share the same perspective, great. If not, they can talk about it. So that's what's good about this strategy. And so as a teacher, it will help me formally assess their work kind of by walking around the class. I'll be listening to their conversations. I'll also be seeing if I need to answer any questions between the partners. And so after they answer the question, which is basically their formal assessment, I can read their answers and, the pairs will have a similar answer. And it'll show me that they both understand the content. They both understand what they read based on their answer, which is what it'll help me formally assess. So to kind of model what I'm looking for, this is what I would do if I was a student, right? So I'd look for any separation is what I would highlight. So right here, I would highlight this, right? Vividly described an iron curtain separating west and east. So that would be something I'd highlight. Another thing I would highlight was American democracy, right? United States committed to the defense of Western Europe, right? So those are some things I would highlight, and then I would share it with my partner. So now how this strategy helps with a focus group or student. So my student was a student with autism under a 504 plan, I believe. And so that student, one of his traits was he gets easily distracted and he struggles with long written work. So something that I do was pair him with a partner who understands what he's going through and allow him to talk because that was one of his strengths. He loves to talk and describe what he's learning, right? So my focus student, he'll be a talker a lot, and his partner will help him keep him on task. Also, I'll be walking around and especially focus on their partnership and give any positive reinforcement that I can through verbal expression. So saying, "Hey, good job, great answer, you're doing great." So that's how I would adapt for the focus student.